Hi, this is Babs Girls Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy
Happy
Monday,
Monday,
people.
people.
Happy Monday. It is good to be here. It's been a weekend, but I got a guest at 9:30, so I want to be ready. I want to be ready for that. But a couple of things. I'll talk about the weekend tomorrow on election day. Don't forget tomorrow's election day. It's gonna be epic. I got on my Kamala Harris 2024 shirt. We not going back. Let me say a couple of things. High five to Karen DeBose Walter. She starts her new gig at the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, or the Greater New Haven Community Foundation. She over there. So she starts today. She ain't listening to me. Nobody over there is listening to me. But I just wanted to just shout her out this morning. Harry, you started a new show. Did I catch you on a new show? Harry, why are you wearing that ridiculous hat with that yellow hair in it? I don't, I don't know what that's about, but all right. Oh, it's an old show. That's not an old show. What's that? I thought it was this morning. Whatever. Whatever, Harry, whatever. A new episode to an old show. Oh, okay. What's the show? What's the name of the show? I don't even know what's the name of the show. Anyway, Harry speaks, Harry talks. Uh, love talk, love Harry. Oh, breaking the news. Okay, all right. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. So anyway, I had a great weekend. Oh my God, it was an epic weekend. I went to a lot of stuff this weekend, but I won't talk about it today because I got guest on in about 15 minutes. But I did a lot of running around that starting on Halloween. Halloween, we had a great party on the porch. Epic, epic party on the porch. Epic. That's Thursday. Friday, uh, we ran up to boxing. We ran up to boxing, Stanford with white collar boxing. My soror and great love, Karima Mickens, who's the town clerk for Hampton. Her brother has been running a boxing uh, entity for, I don't know, 20 years or so. Fitness, young people, the whole thing. So we rode up to Greenwich and ate good, drank good, watched some good boxing, some really good boxing. And then we left Saturday. The Arts Council Award started my day with the New Haven Links brunch, which was really nice up at the View. It was such a good time. Thank you to the Sisters of the Links. I had a good time. So I got to host that, and then ran over to the Arts Council where Frank Brady and Ife were the host, and it was held at the Boathouse. It was good. It was really, really good. It was enjoyable. People came out. It was wonderful, wonderful night. Left there, ran over to the Omni where the Jamaican American Connection had their gala. Got there just in time for dinner, which was really nice. Um, Stayed for that. Did not stay to dance the night away because by that time I had to get them contacts out, get that makeup off my face because I was really, really tired. But it was a great time. Saw people I haven't seen in a minute. It was fun. I'll talk more about it later on in the week. But right now, I'm going to get us ready for Collective Consciousness near Collective Consciousness Theater. They've got a new production coming called The Niceties, and it's coming starting November 7th through the 24th. So you could do a whole lot with that. You can get you some Thanksgiving fare in. You could do some really cool stuff. And I want to tell you about The Niceties because it has two people that I really, really like in these roles. It's a two-person play, and oops, I'm reading wrong things. Uh, and I'm delighted to have them come on. I think they're coming on with Jenny Nelson this morning. So the Nicety is a play by Eleanor Burgess, and they will do it at Collective Consciousness Theater. We'll do it at Bergamo's Community Theater on Blatchley, November 7th through the 24th. So it's directed by Jenny Nelson. She's the associate artistic director for Collective Consciousness. So the actors are Kendall Driffin. Y'all know Kendall Driffin from Fairview and Barbecue, and she's Steve Driffin's daughter. And then Susan Culp from Rashida Speaking, Barbecue, and most recently The Slice as Mrs. Carbianazza. So I got a chance to be in a play with her. She's a beautiful looking woman. And the production stage manager is Ashley Sweet. So the Niceties has been seen in theaters across the country, including its off-Broadway premiere at the Huntington Theater in Boston. So it's about Zoe, a Black student at a liberal arts college, is called into her white professor's office to discuss her paper about slavery's effect on the American Revolution. What begins as a polite clash in perspectives explodes into an urgent debate about race, history, and power. Whew. So Burgess, who is the playwright, generates a verbal whirlwind with a words per minute velocity that rivals Aaron Sorkin. That's what the Boston Globe said. An articulate expression of Black Lives Matter anger, as well as a millennial rebel yell, the arts fuse, and a barn burner of a play, one of the best plays I've seen about who gets to tell the story of America and how, the Washington Post. So I can't wait to get into this. This is going to be some good stuff. And I bet you it'll feel very familiar to some of us, particularly those of us who have gone to white institutions. Because when you go to HBCUs, there is no affinity group. There is no Black student union, no Black student government. It is the student government. It is the student union. It is the bookstore. It is we all up in here together. So, and no shade to private white institutions. That's not the point that I'm making. That's not the point. The point that I'm making is some people had the experience of running up against white folks and language and the telling of history in undergrad, and some of us run into it after undergrad. That's the point that I'm making. So it just means I bought a little more time for myself before I jumped out there in the world. So anyway, they're gonna come on and talk about this explosive play at 9:30. I'm gonna make sure I go see this. One, because I just love these two actors. I just love them. And anything that they do, I want to see, you know. So I'm delighted to sort of see it. But I can't wait for them to come on and talk about it. And to listen, collective consciousness does not shy away from these times. They do not shy away from these times. Whereas other theaters, they take up the matter in other ways. But collective consciousness is like, I'm just gonna put it right in your face. We're gonna deal with it right here, right now. This is the stage. As Parliament Funkadelic used to say, we gotta take it to the stage. And here it is. So while other theater companies messing around and dabbling around and skirting around, matters of race and and issues of race and the telling of history. Collective consciousness is like, So we're gonna get into it. So I'm looking forward to having them on. Whew! I'm not here on Wednesday because Wednesday is my LSAT day. I'm taking the LSAT for the third damn time. I hear three's the charm. So I have to drive up to Glastonbury tomorrow morning. I made sure I got the earliest time. I don't like messing around. I like, I'm one of these people. I want to be first. I want to get it out the way. I want it behind me. That's how I operate. I swear that's how I operate. I don't like to be last. I don't want to be in the middle. I want to be like first, 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 done, done, done. I like to fly early in the morning or late at night. If I fly late at night, that means I'm going abroad and I want to arrive in the morning. When I fly early in the morning from here, that means I'm going to the Caribbean. I want to be on the beach by noon with a drink in my hand. First, 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 first. That's how I roll. I don't like to, when they always ask like, who would like to go first? My hand is always up in groups, in discussions, in all kinds of things. I want to go first. I want to get it out the way because then I could just relax and sit and listen to everybody else. I don't want to be listening to other people and be thinking about what I got to talk about. Nope. Whatever they say, this is the thing. Okay, I'm going first. I just like getting stuff out the way. I've always been like that. That way I could just relax. I don't like carrying a whole lot of anxiety about stuff. So that's just how I roll. That's just how we roll. So yeah, so this week is equally busy. Because Thursday I'm gonna have the City Seed. Sarah Miller is coming on, executive director of City Seed. She's gonna come on because Friday I'm in conversation with the guest that's coming to talk about foraging. But they have their fundraiser happening on Friday, and I'm delighted to sort of be in the space. And their new space is big and nice, and I'm excited about it. So, but I'll talk more about that later in the week too, because I'm not here on Wednesday. Tomorrow's the election, so I'll figure out if somebody want to jump on and have a conversation about all these elections. Maybe Paul, if it's not a Jewish holiday, some other folks, maybe if they want to jump on, give some voice to what we're saying, particularly on the local level. What's happening. I know Chris Murphy has. I mean, everybody has a race. Everybody has somebody running against them or whatever. Um, I can't imagine that, the incumbents would not get back in. I just don't see that happening. But I've seen Gary out there stumping. I've seen Chris out there. Who else have I seen out there? Bunch of folks out there who've got races and who are, out in community knocking on doors, the whole shebang. So yeah, so I'm gonna get up. I think my goal is to go early before I get on air to vote. Because I just have to walk down the street. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna run down the street, take my ID, vote, and uh and be ready to get back and do my show. So I feel like if I go early enough, it's not gonna be like a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? Like it won't be like a gazillion people. So so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. No, I didn't vote early, Harry, because I like the excitement of going to the polls. And since I live down the street, I just feel like I want to walk it. I just want to walk it and just go. Although a lot of my friends voted early, which is nice. And a lot of them because they knew they had to be other places and all that. So it's nice to sort of to be able to early vote. And so far 75 million across the country have early voted. That's a big damn deal. And early voting tends to favor Democrats because we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. So it's all good as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna get to the polls tomorrow. I'll take a picture. I'll put my little sticker sign on, so that the day does not get by me. And then I'm going to a election party, and I'm gonna live stream from there. I have to get permission, but I think they'll be cool with it. I think they'll be fine. So it'll be good. I think it'll be fine. So anyway, I'm getting ready for the collective consciousness people to uh to come on and uh and to tell me about this new play that they're launching. And it's at Bergamos, which is, a wonderful space, good parking, and comfortable setting. So yeah, come and check it out. So uh anyway, it's all good. Right, right. So anyway, uh I'm gonna let these folks, we let people in now, Harry, or what we doing? It's fine. It's fine. I got some time. No, I hear the music. Cue it up. Good morning, Jenny Nelson. And is it Jamie? Jamie Guy from Collective Consciousness Theater. Theater. All right, y'all got a new production coming up, and I hear it's powerful.
It is. Good morning.
Y'all,
Good morning.
y'all don't waste no time hitting people. Y'all a theater that don't play around with conversations around race and white supremacy. Y'all just like, Everybody else is like, I don't know. But y'all like, All right, tell me about this play, Jenny. Why? Why this play?
Yeah, so it's so great to be talking with you again, Babs. This is always such a highlight of our production season when we get to engage with you and your community. So thanks for having us back yet again. And I'm so excited to be with Jamie Geit, my assistant director, and also of fame of Fairview and Barbecue.
That's where I know her. This is where
Yes.
I know her from. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so she is a star and she is our assistant director. So we're so lucky to have her with us. Yeah, and Jamie, please chime in, right? Like, well, I'm just going to start going and we'll just kind of team up together like we do in the rehearsal room, right? So,
I'm ready.
yeah, this play, The Niceties. So I think I was actually thinking about, we start reading plays about a year out. So I read this play almost a year ago, which was a very different country at that time, right? And just felt so compelled to tell this story. And now that we are one day away from one of the most important elections, I think, of our lives, it feels even more important that we're telling this story. So this play was actually produced in 2015. It is about two women, a college professor that identifies as white and a young undergrad student that identifies as Black. And their conversation is really centered around a thesis that our young student has written. And the idea that of whitewashing history, right, which we know is so a part of our conversation right now. We're banning books again. We've actually never stopped, right? And what are we going to tell the whole story, right? Are we going to tell the whole story about historical facts, especially when we don't particularly have primary sources when it comes to those that were enslaved in this country? And how do we tell those stories? And our young student has really come with this amazing theory, this amazing thesis. She is so excited to engage in this. And that's where the conversation begins. And it's during office hours, which feels very, something we're all hopefully aware of and know about, but there's nothing typical about what happens during these office hours.
Oh. And it's very timely, Jenny, because we done seen a bunch of sister presidents be pushed out of high profile president roles as if somehow or other, they weren't qualified, or they took a they that somehow or other they took a stand that wasn't in keeping it in alignment with the institution. I mean, just all kinds of foolishness. And but I will tell you, when I was reading the press, because Dexter sent me the press release, and I was reading it, and you got somebody else coming on, Jackie Alessi, is that your person?
I think I've got a couple of actors that might be joining
Okay,
us. Yeah.
okay. And so when Dexter sent me the press release, I know this conversation because I've had this conversation with some of my friends who have gone to private white institutions. So this is not some strange made up kind of thing. This is happening. Hello, Mrs.
Got a
Hello.
different name here for Hi, Susan.
That was my last character I was playing.
Or I would say Mrs. Carbonizata.
Carbonizzato.
Carbonizata. Yes, you will always be my carbonizata. Gin
Hey,
and tonics for
Kendall.
everyone. Inside joke. Kendall Driffin, thanks for joining us.
Morning, everybody. Good
So,
back.
Yes.
so Jenny, have you and Jamie, because y'all that just joined us, we were talking about the particular play, and I was reading the press release, and I know this story because I have friends who have. I haven't seen the play, but I can imagine because the conversations I've had with my friends in these institutions about this same kind of thing, about who gets to tell the story, is very painful and in your face. So, Jenny, and Jamie, when you're pulling this off, when you're putting this together, I mean, this is painful stuff.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And it's one of the reasons why we make sure that there's open communication in all of our rehearsals. We keep referring to it as the girls group. It's an all-girl team this time for our rehearsal space, although we do have men working on our lighting and sets, but it is a space of love, and we are here for each other with the conversation, with the vulnerability, with support, with hugs when needed, and things stop so that we can be in that moment. And I think that it's really important to remember that when we are putting on performances like this, we're not just storytelling, we are living our own experiences on that stage. So we create that space to make sure that everyone feels supported in these moments because these conversations are very tough and they are connected to our lives outside of that space as well.
So Kendo and Susan, tell me about the weight of the words of this particular play, because I understand it's very, very wordy, and
Yeah.
I would imagine there's some intensity to this.
That's an understatement. Yeah, I mean, it's just so beautifully written, and some of the words, honestly, are really some of the dialogue is very difficult to say. Um, so it's been quite a challenge in that way.
Yes. Yeah, we've had to do a lot of research on people, time periods. So we've got a lot of lessons, in this rehearsal process. But yes, the language it's very difficult, but it's doable.
So is this as I was saying to Jenny and Jamie, these kinds of conversations are not new to me because I have friends who have defended their dissertations or are about to defend their dissertations and been met with stuff that's just like out of this world, heartbreaking, and it's like
Hmm.
how do you fight that? So how do you prepare Kendall and Susan to sort of step into these very weighty roles of clearly a race and history and all the things that we are right in this moment struggling with?
Yeah, I think for me, just having to really go back into that time period and really see who this woman was and what she, I mean, and at this time period, she's 60s, she's come up, what her struggles were and what her point of view is at the moment, really understanding that, and where that was in its place in history. in what was happening in the world at the time, has been really important to play her.
Yes, I agree with Susan. Same with me. Just having to go back to that time period, and actually putting myself in my character's shoes. Because at the time I was close, like around her age. And so just to remind myself of the themes that were happening, the hot topics that were going on, and just making sure I'm sticking to, that area.
And so, Jenny, what era is this?
Yeah, so this play was produced in 2015, and it is actually right before He Who Will Not Be Named receives the Republican nomination in 2016. So this is that moment before, right? When we're talking about it before the election between Hillary, right, and Donald Trump. And we actually talk a lot about the things that haven't happened before the moment of this play. Roe v. Wade has not been overturned. We have not had the pandemic. We have not had the 2020, protests that were occurred. Joe Biden hasn't dropped out of the race, and the amazing Kamala Harris hasn't joined the race. None of those things have happened in the world of this play. And our playwright talks a lot. Eleanor Burgess, just such an amazing playwright, a teacher, historian herself, who talked about this play being the two sides of her brain, right? How do we square this? How do we tell the whole story of history, knowing that potentially we may not have primary sources simply because those that were enslaved were not allowed, right, to express. So we don't have these things to be able to have primary sources for a thesis such as Zoe Kendall's character has created. And so knowing that when we walk into this play, we actually note it in the program, let's try to go back to that moment before. The moment before everything changed, right? And can we think when there was still maybe a chance for civil discord, right? And these two women are coming in feeling hopeful that they can connect because they are two sides of the same side, right? And that really becomes the conversation is can by the end they see each other? Can they hear each other? And we will leave that up to audiences to decide.
So there's only two of y'all in this play. This is a two-person play. So Jamie, how do you and Jenny, how do you direct this? Like how do you the play I'm sure is a full-on play and it's two people and all the language is through them and all the emotional heaviness is through them. How do you direct that? How do you plan for that?
In all fairness, we have been blessed with two consummate professionals. So there is a little bit of ease in that, knowing that the actors on that stage are so dedicated to their craft, so gifted, and so interested in bringing out the fullness of the story, the fullness of the character, the fullness of the experiences. So I know that working with Jenny, there is a lot of trust in the actors and helping them to find it, helping them to find the moments, the understanding. And it always starts off with a real deep series of discussions about the text in front of us. What does that mean? What does that mean from the playwright? What does that mean to our personal experiences? What are we bringing to the room? There are moments now as we're going into our tech week where I know Jenny and I are still taken aback by the findings, the development, and the skill that's on that stage, which makes it really easy to direct. And that may sound horrible, but it's true. We've just been blessed here with some very gifted actors.
Mm. So Kendall and Susan, when you said yes to the roles, talk to me about, all right, I get my script. Let me go find out about these people. Let me go find out. I mean, 20, the time before is not that far away. Like, it's not like
Yeah.
it's 100 years ago,
Exactly.
I mean, although pre-pandemic feels like 100 years ago. Like, how did you all center yourself in research and how much did you have to do to sort of feel like you understand these women?
Well, we had a reading in May, and Jenny sent us the script, And I knew at that moment when I read with Susan that this was a play that was timely, because to your point, 2016 was not that long ago, although it feels like eons ago because so much has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in a way, Jenny has mentioned this, the playwright is kind of prophetic in that way. So just reading this script, I'm like, okay, this is something that needs to be seen. And I'm all about doing plays that create conversation, that kind of shake the table, right? I'm all about that. So yeah, that's what made me, say yes to this play and say yes to working with Susan and Jamie and Jenny and to being Zoe and telling her story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Susan?
Yeah, a lot of that. I mean, I had been introduced to this play actually over a while before this. So when Jenny sent it to me, I was like, oh, I have wanted to do this play for so long. So I was so excited. And then of course, to get to work with this whole team and with Kendall. And it really is just, again, just going back and just really researching that period. And we have talked a lot about the fact that really centering it in like all these things. It's amazing when you really think about all the things that haven't happened yet when this play takes place. And just, just going back and spending a lot of time looking at the text, what she's talking about, and then centering it in that 2016 era and what had happened. And then also on, what the life experience of this character was up until this point. So that was a really important piece too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
building that story.
So Jenny, when you think about these plays, because this seems like a great play for meaty roles for women actors to want to do, right? Like it's demanding and it's intense and it's a lot of words. Do you look for parts that are like heavy, or do you say, you know what? No, I might just want a little sing play. Like I want somewhere I can sing along or bounce along. Like does every piece of work have to be so weighty and so meaty? Like how do you choose?
Such a good question. Well, I know Susan wants to do a musical at CCT, so it will happen at some point. Like
Me,
Dexter,
me
I would
too,
love.
Susan. I want a musical too.
I know. Yes, it is. Dexter and I would love nothing more. Caroline or Change is always on our list. There's a lot of beautiful musicals. Yeah, I know that we could do. This play in particular. So, having directed Barbecue and then Fairview, two fairly absurdist plays, right? Very important plays, important themes, but fairly absurdist and big cast for us, right? 10 people is pretty big for us at CCT in our intimate space. As a director, I was looking for a challenge to pick something a little bit different. And actually, the first play I directed at CCT was called Gideon's Knot. And it was just two women, a parent and a teacher in a classroom. And I found that to be so rewarding because there's no other character coming in to save them. They are the play, right? They have to work this out in this room if they can. And that was really interesting to me, to kind of go back to those roots and think about just two people having a dialogue. Can you really change someone's mind? Can you actually do that, even if they're rooted in their values and what they think is right? Right? Because the playwright says at the beginning of the play, both these women are right. They are right in what they believe. And can you actually have that dialogue? Because we're at such a divisive moment in our country where it's like, you feel like if I just have one conversation with someone, maybe I can get them to see, right? Maybe I can get them to have more empathy and bring them along with us. And so that really interested me. And then a lot, we love to open our doors and have open auditions, and we meet new people and work with new people. But for this particular play, as soon as I read it, and I've told Kendall and Susan this, I just saw the two of them. I just saw them having this conversation in my mind. And I thought, well, they already know each other. They already trust each other, right? They love each other. They've done work together. So not all that work is done, right? And we can just start from a place of trust and vulnerability. A lot when I called Tanisi Davis to do Passover, and I said, if you do Passover, I'll do Passover, right? and he was like, okay, let's do this. So that we are really lucky, again, like Jamie said, that they said yes, because honestly, we have wonderful actors. I can imagine a lot of different iterations of this cast, but these two women are truly exactly the two women that should be in this play at this moment. And I can't imagine anyone bringing the story with more clarity and care than the two of them do. And I love being able to give that to women, right? There's so few times when women get these roles where they can be complex and they can have flaws and they can have, right? They can have all these things and not be these flat characters. These women are complex, and I'm interested to see audiences' reaction to what they bring to the space.
So Jamie, you are an actor, but in this particular iteration, you are on the other side. You are facing the stage and not on the stage. So what does that feel? What does that feel like?
Excuse me. I love it. My background varies from being both behind the stage, writing, on the stage. I love theater. I love storytelling. So having the opportunity to sit here and play this role for this show feels empowering for me. Um, and also, I am a DEI consultant, and having the opportunity to bring that to this experience, that to these conversations, it feels like the perfect fit for me. Now, we'll see what other people say about it in the end, but I'm very happy where I am right now.
Okay. Now, Jenny, do you all record your plays, or you don't do that?
In the past, we've done some for archival purposes. So that's always something that we're looking to do. I know people would love to see them. I mean, ideally, it'd be great if we could put them up online. That's kind of another conversation, but typically we don't. Typically, you got to kind of be in the room to see it.
No,
There's
I
something,
feel
right?
you on that.
Yeah, there's such a liveness. There's such an interactive quality. Even though we are at Bregamos, which we are so excited to bring
I was
this
going to
to
ask you
Bregamos.
about the
Yeah,
Bergamos theater and
yeah.
the reason for being there, which it's a lovely space. It's one of my favorite spaces to be in.
I know we love it. And Rafael Ramos, I mean, truly one of our greatest, artists, community artists. We're so lucky to have him. Partially, we wanted to partner with Bregamos. We're always looking for ways to kind of make that happen. And we wanted a bit of a bigger space. We love our space, our intimate, lovely space, but we actually wanted to open this up so more people could come see this play, because we feel so passionately that this play must be seen. We must have this dialogue. This is of the moment. Even though it's 2015, it is 2024. We need to have these conversations, and we want to do that. So really to build the audience. Also, accessibility is something we're always looking at, and clearly it's a much more accessible space in a lot of ways. So it just felt like this particular play was a really nice combination of those things for us to be at Bregamos. And Raf is such a great host. We feel so welcome in the space, and right around the corner from CCT. So won't be hard for people to find us, which we love. Yeah, we're excited.
So all of you all tell me, what do you hope people will see? Like, what do you hope people, when they walk, because they're going to walk in not knowing anything about this play, they'll read the playbill and be like, oh, okay, I got some sense of this. But then they're going to see it and experience it. What do you hope? What do you, in your heart, you hope will happen when people leave this production?
I know for me, it's my hope that people walk away with the new thought or idea that listening to other people is important. And your perspective or your experience is not the only thing, it's not the only truth, but there are other truths and other stories that are just as important as yours. And that they will be open to listening to people and to having conversations and to truly hearing each other.
I would have to second exactly what you said, Kendall. That's exactly what I would have said. And I think that's going to happen. I feel like I want to just be a fly on the wall in the audience, like at intermission and just hear, I feel like we should have like little tape recorders, like, and just like, so we can find out what everybody's saying in intermission and then what everybody's saying at the end. I'm really, really, really anxious to hear people's reactions, but yeah, that's what I hope too.
Okay. I
And I
know
think that'll happen.
I think people at Thanksgiving will have some real good conversations this year.
Oh, I hope so. We hope so.
Jenny, Jamie, what are your hopes?
I know that for me, my hope is that audience members feel seen in moments of the characters. not necessarily the whole character, but just in moments that they can build that connection and that they walk away with an understanding of what Kendall and Susan shared. And just that sometimes what we hear is not necessarily what was meant. And to take a moment to get
Mm.
curious, to ask the questions, to get the clarity, to not combat with judgment, but to really work to understand the person in the conversation with you.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
How great is Jamie Guy?
Oh,
We're so, we're just, this is why you're in the room, Jamie, truly. Your
Thank you.
artistry, but what you bring into the space, it's been such a joy to work with you in partnership in this way, not as actor director, but as, as directors of the show. And just that, right? Just bringing that sense of we need to hear each other, right? And we are at a place where we're not hearing each other. And I'm very interested in that dialogue that we're always trying to have at CCT. We want people to walk out asking questions that they may not have answers to, but at least they're asking the question, right? Which is like that first sense of awareness that maybe I don't know everything. Maybe my perspective isn't the only perspective. Maybe there's a different lived experience that could affect me. And, we knew when we picked this play, when Dexter and I looked at the calendar, we were going to be running right into this election, right? We didn't know what this election was going to be, right? How exciting, what a cliffhanger. But we will literally have a new president by the end of this run. And I can't think of something more exciting than to be in community with folks wherever this goes, that we will be together. We will either be in joy together, in sorrow together, in flux together, whatever it is, we can commune in our space and be together for whatever happens. That feels like a gift to give our community, right? We're all going to be wrapped up this week in the election, but come to the show and be with us and take a break maybe from watching the television and come watch this for 2 hours, right? Or just be with us so you can feel like you have a place to express, because we're right there with you. I would say every night at some point we are talking about this election because it's so a part of the dialogue of the play. And so the hope is that this week and in the coming weeks, people come so we can just be together, because that's how
The
we're going
play,
to get there.
the play runs, it's called The Niceties, by Eleanor Burgess. It runs November 7th through the 24th. You can get tickets, and y'all stuff always sells out. So I'm gonna tell people right now, go head
That's
on
right.
over to www.collectiveconsciousnesstheater.org and get yourself some tickets. And every Thursday, it's pay what you can.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? So they do well to remove barriers, so you can pay what you can at the door. Thank you all this morning for coming out and talking about this wonderful. I cannot wait to see it. Jenny, are you going to have talkbacks throughout the
Of
month?
course. We can't stop ourselves from talkbacks, right? It's one of our favorite things. And it's, I have to say, if you've never been to a CCT show, come to a talkback night. Because really, we have, over these last 10, 15 years, we feel like we've really cultivated a community that feels like they can express and bring others to be vulnerable in the space and maybe ask the questions that are hard to ask, right? And so we are excited. The second and third Saturdays will be talkback nights, and the guests are TBD, but we're hoping to get some really wonderful guests to come talk with us. But at the very least, you'll get to engage with these three amazing people, which is well worth it. So
Yes.
yeah, please come on out.
Well, thank you for your time. I can't wait to see this play. Lovely to see you again, Susan.
Good to see you, darling.
Love to see you, Kendall. Love
Thank
to
you.
see you again too, Jamie. And always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to see you, Jenny.
Thank you so much for welcoming us, Babz. We
Oh,
look
you're
forward
welcome
to
here
seeing you at the show. It was
anytime.
great to see you at the Arts Awards on Saturday. What a beautiful
Thank you.
night.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see y'all in your space doing your work. Take good care. Have a good
Right.
week.
Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you, Babz.
Thank
And
you.
don't forget to
Thank you.
vote.
Vote,
Yes.
vote, 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 vote,
Vote,
vote.
vote, 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 vote.
Vote, vote, vote.
Vote, vote.
Vote
Yes.
twice.
Like your life depends on it. All right. I'm gonna take a break and then I'll be back with another set of actors. So thank y'all so much. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you, Harry. All right. Thanks, Babz.
Y'all
Thank you.
later.
Bye.
Thank you, Babz.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
you.